Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you celebrated their success even when it came at the cost of your own dreams? Imagine working quietly behind the scenes while your partner climbs higher every year. Then one day the person you sacrificed everything for looks you in the eye and says you are nothing but a burden. She walks away expecting you to crawl after her. But sometimes the greatest revenge is not destroying the person who left. Sometimes it is becoming the person they never believed you could be. Stay until the end because the final conversation changes everything. My name is Daniel. For 15 years I believed marriage meant carrying each other through every season. When my wife Emily received her first promotion, I was happier than she was. I cooked dinner. I cleaned the house. I worked overtime so she could attend expensive business courses. I never kept score because I thought we were building one future together. Emily was brilliant. Every promotion brought a bigger paycheck. Every raise came with new confidence. I admired her determination and proudly told everyone that my wife was unstoppable. I never imagined success would slowly change the way she looked at me. I worked as a maintenance supervisor for a manufacturing company. My salary was stable but ordinary. It paid the bills and gave us security while Emily chased opportunities. I believed every family needed someone dependable. At first nothing felt different. Then small comments started appearing. You could do so much more if you actually tried. Everyone at my office has ambitious husbands. Do you ever think about making something of yourself? I laughed them off. I thought stress from work was making her impatient. Months passed and the criticism became sharper. She corrected the way I dressed before company dinners. She introduced me by my first name instead of calling me her husband. She rolled her eyes whenever people asked what I did for work. One evening she hosted executives at our home. I spent all afternoon preparing food and making sure everything looked perfect. While serving drinks I overheard her laughing. Daniel is comfortable doing simple work. Not everyone has big dreams. The room laughed politely. No one noticed me standing just outside the kitchen. That sentence stayed with me for weeks. I still loved her. I convinced myself everyone says things they regret. Then came the day everything changed. Emily walked into the living room carrying divorce papers. She spoke calmly as if discussing the weather. I have outgrown this marriage. We want different lives. I cannot keep dragging dead weight behind me. Dead weight. Those two words echoed louder than anything else. She expected me to argue. She expected tears. She expected promises to change. Instead, I quietly signed the papers. She looked surprised. That is it. I nodded. If leaving makes you happy, then I will not stop you. She smiled with confidence. She packed her things and left. The house became painfully quiet. The first few weeks were the hardest of my life. Every room reminded me of memories that no longer belonged to us. Friends stopped calling because they did not know whose side to choose. Family members whispered that Emily had been too successful for someone like me. For the first time in years I questioned my own worth. One morning my elderly neighbor knocked on my door. She handed me homemade bread and said something I will never forget. Do not measure your value using someone else's paycheck. That simple sentence changed my thinking. Instead of chasing Emily, I started chasing the version of myself I had ignored. I enrolled in evening business classes. I learned project management. I earned certifications my company had offered for years. Without the pressure of saving every dollar for someone else's career, I invested in myself. Within a year, I was promoted. 2 years later, another company recruited me for a leadership role. The salary nearly doubled. More importantly, I finally believed in myself. Meanwhile, life was changing for Emily too. Her promotions continued, but so did the pressure. She traveled constantly. Relationships came and went. Awards filled her office, but the apartment always felt empty. One afternoon my phone rang. It was Emily. Her confident voice had disappeared. Can we meet? Curiosity replaced anger. We met at a quiet coffee shop. She stared at her cup for several minutes before speaking. I thought success would make me happy. It did not. She admitted she had confused income with character. She believed earning more meant becoming more valuable. She expected everyone around her to rise at the same speed or be left behind. Then she realized promotions cannot replace loyalty. Money cannot replace respect. Status cannot replace peace. She looked at me with tears. I kept waiting for you to beg. When you never called, I became angry. Then the first became curious. Now I understand. I asked one question. Why did you call today? She answered honestly. Because I finally see the man I should have appreciated years ago. I smiled kindly. You are seeing the same man. The only difference is that I finally see him too. Silence filled the room. She asked if we could start over. Years earlier I would have said yes without hesitation. But people do not simply return to the life they walked away from. I thanked her for apologizing. I forgave her because carrying bitterness only hurts the person holding it. Then I stood up. Forgiveness does not always mean reunion. Sometimes it simply means both people are finally free. I walked away without anger. Months later I met someone through volunteer work. She never asked about my salary. She cared about my honesty. She admired my kindness. She respected the way I treated people. For the first time I understood what partnership truly meant. Success is not measured by who earns more. It is measured by who stands beside you when life becomes difficult. Years after our divorce I occasionally heard updates about Emily. She continued building an impressive career. I sincerely hoped she found happiness because resentment had no place in my future. Our story taught me one lesson. Anyone can celebrate you when life is easy. The people who truly love you will never measure your worth by your paycheck. Never allow someone else's opinion to become your identity. If someone walks away because they believe you are not enough, then let them go. The right people will recognize your value long before success proves it. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories.